Welcome, beautiful people. We are live, as they say, from Natchez Trace. Going to take a minute to just test out the connection here. So, to the one person in here, we are very new to live casting from YouTube. Generally, we do this from Instagram. I do not have an Instagram anymore. So, yeah, if you've never been to a live broadcast, you're going to hear me repeating a few things. Just letting you know what we're doing, where we are, that sort of thing. And like I said, feel free to let me know. Where are you, Leia? There she is. Feel free to let me know here in the chat. There are no moderators here, folks, just so you know. So please keep it, at least PG-13. Let me know, can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? All that good stuff. And like I said, first time using the YouTube live stream. Got Eastwood here in the background. So yeah, this should be fun. Got 5 people coming in. Folks, as you're filing in here, I have no idea what the turnout's going to be for this, because generally we do this stuff over on Instagram. I left Instagram back in December. So yeah, I have no idea. But everybody coming in, thank you very much for being here. I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on the chat. Like I said, folks that come in, let me know if you can hear me okay, see me okay. A little preview of what we've got going on here. Got the dude here with us. And Mary St. Pat's, by the way, everybody. We have a selection of cameras. Imperial Mark 12, no name. Ishmael, that's a Fuji X Pro 1. Alice, that is the Hasselblad 500 cm. Love you, Alice. Got old Marcus here. That is my fully restored speed graphic pacemaker. Olga bringing up the rear. And like I said, we've got old Eastwood set up here. This is the big Ritter 11 by 14. Giving you a little bit of a lay of the land. Got the Hive over there. Going to move there in a second. Welcome, welcome everybody coming in. I do believe there's a Dale Q. Welcome, Dale. Welcome, welcome. I wish I could send the Jeremiah Johnson gift just for you, my friend. Appreciate you being here, as well as everybody else. Gonna let things fill up here. Like I said, folks, as far as live streams go on YouTube, no idea for the turnout on this. So we may have 10 people, we may have 100 people, I don't know. So I'm gonna let it go for about 10 minutes here, let everybody file in, and we will get started. If you saw some of the community posts, we're going to be talking about mainly where we are, more or less. I'll take you around camp. This started out to be the christening, boink, boink, for the new Hive. The Hive is our portable darkroom, bar, writing salon, office. Literally a catch-all. That is brand new, at least it was. The previous Hive, I had it for 2 years. Built it before I even sold the house. Been all over the country. And finally, I decided to just go ahead and give it a good death, even after that Hive video refurb. And I got a new one. But unfortunately, that guy, and like I said, folks, we'll talk about that in a second. That guy that's right there, the bad storm, moved him over there to that far campsite. Yeah, that was an ordeal. So I was hoping the new dark room was going to be pristine. I was hoping it was going to be super clean. Going to more or less take you through how it was before I did any of the light proofing stuff. Fortunately, it was not harmed that much during that tempest, but anyway, we'll see. Other things on the menu, folks, we're going to definitely be talking about some upcoming episodes. Namely, if you're coming here, I mentioned it in one of the community posts. Guys, the whole breakthrough photography thing and the Colorado Tripod Company thing, well, that's just one big roller coaster. Some weird stuff's happening. I can't believe it. It's going to be some questionable legality. If you've been one of the folks who's been asking about that, I've been saying that that update to the update is going to be coming up more than a year now, because stuff just keeps coming in. I've been on the phone with some of the former employees, and hopefully with this update, we'll at least tie up my end of the reason why I started doing that update to begin with on some of the products. I'm talking about like the Aspen ball head, talking about that 4 series tripod or vector tripod, depending on which company you want to look at. In terms of whether or not it's Colorado Tripod Company still in business, is it Rocky Mountain Tactical? Very juicy stuff. And a big part of me really does want to tell you everything. I'll tell you some of it, but like I said, I don't want to be sued. I don't like being sued. And there's going to be a question of libel, slander, and defamation with that. But we'll definitely get into that in detail a little bit later on. And folks, if you can't tell, we are from a campsite here. We're in Natchez Trace. You're in roughly Middle Tennessee, West Middle Tennessee, at Meriwether Lewis Campground. And if you want to know how this is all being relatively possible, and I'm hoping of course you're here for the dog, Andrew. Welcome, my friend. I'm glad you made it. Just so you know, folks, I'm going to embarrass him a little. Well, probably not embarrass him, but Andrew is a internet friend of mine, social media friend of mine. I count him as an actual friend of mine. Don't get embarrassed, Andrew. But I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll continue to say it. Andrew Hertel, one of the best black and white guys in the game. Go look him up. I'm serious. He's one of 3 photographers that I own a print from. One of those is Ansel Adams. So what does that tell you? Anyway, if you want to know how we're doing this, folks, let me switch around. We are pumping all kinds of juice through our WeBoost. I'm, of course, not sponsored by them, but if you're wondering how we're managing to do this live broadcast, we got the big extension cable on here that's running to electricity inside, and we're going off this little guy right here, and that should let us have free range everywhere. Got the solar panels going, such as it is. The sun is there, I promise. So where are we? We're about 7 minutes. And folks, as we go through, please don't hesitate to let me know through the chat if you can't hear me, you can't see me. I know I'm gorgeous and I don't want to cheat you. But seriously, folks, the connection here is going to be questionable at best. And as I said, the whole YouTube as a live platform, I'm not very proficient with, so I'm kind of learning as I go here. Hey, more than welcome, my friend. Not a word of it a lie. Andrew, still kind of pissed off at you over the whole Japan thing. That's okay. We'll get through it. So really, folks, we're going to try to keep it hour-ish today, maybe. He said, depending on the connection, depending on how our power goes, like I said, it's going to be more of an abbreviated live broadcast. So if you have questions about our cameras, go over these again. I mentioned earlier, guys, if you're just coming in, some of the stuff is going to be repetitive, so just bear with me. We got the speed graphic, our speed graphic pacemaker, the Graflex, very famous camera these days, 4x5, Marcus. Of course, the cameras all have names, more or less. Got the Hasselblad out here, the Hasselblad 500 cm. That's Alice. Have any questions about that? Any of these cameras, just chime in, and I will answer them as best as I can. Got the Super Holga back here. That's Olga, the 120 pan 6x12. There's a video, fairly recent video episode on the whole overhaul of that camera. Of course, got our trusty Ishmael Fuji X Pro 1. That's a 13-year-old digital camera. It's got that first generation Shifts KISS X-Trans sensor in there, in my opinion. To date, probably the best digital camera sensor ever made. I'm not the only one that thinks that either. Other things in the mix, little Imperial here. Love this camera. It's been everywhere. It's made in 1955-ish. Little plastic bakelite camera. 1 shutter speed, 1 aperture, 6x20 format. I have to respool the 120 film to fit in that. Love that camera. Actually going to be doing a weird little customization on that bad boy here in the maybe next episode or 2 here on the channel. And if you've kept up with anything, folks, the big 11x14 Ritter, and this is the tank, ultra large format. Believe it or not, this is the entry level ultra large format. While I was there visiting Mr. Ritter, he had up to, I think he makes 20 by 24s, but 11 by 14, literally, move a few things around here. I built old Bruce. Bruce is the Forerunner, if you didn't know. I built Bruce around Leia and this drawer right here. It's our darkroom drawer. Like I said, literally measured everything to fit. This is our contact printing frame. And get underneath it, and those are our trays, all of our implements of destruction. Those are 11 by 14 trays, and that's what this drawer is built around. And that's why we have an 11 by 14. I would have went bigger if I could, but if you've kept up with the whole Ritter thing, these cameras are revolutionary. They're modular. So this base, this carbon fiber tubular base, you can actually upgrade, or if you want to call it that, but you can go up all the way to his biggest camera, that 20 by 24, or all the way down. He makes custom formats. I think his smallest camera he makes is 8 by 10, maybe lying to you. But all that stuff, all you have to do essentially is change out the rear. And yeah, it goes a long way. One of the reasons why I got it. All right, guys, we are, keep going here. Got 7 folks in here. Like I said, if you're just coming in, folks, if you've been here for a while, welcome or welcome again. Live stream, first one on YouTube. And I think I like it a lot better than Instagram. If I'm not mistaken, well, I like everything a lot better than Instagram. If I'm not mistaken, the last live stream we had, I think we were doing that back when we used to do the cocktail hours. I think we were out in Payson, Arizona. I think we did the Sazerac episode with a Hasselblad, I think. But yeah, man, a lot of highway between there and now. I'm gonna give it. We're at 12 minutes. We've about another 3 minutes. In the meantime, before we move out to the Hive, as Steve Wallace would say, time for step 2. We'll have a Guinness while we talk about the dark room, what goes into making that light proof-ish, what our steps are going to be with that. If you haven't watched, let me mention this, folks. I didn't put any links to any other episodes in the description here. There is a description down there, but it's kind of bare. When this gets done, it should auto process. This video gets done, or this live stream gets done. It should auto process. And I think I'll probably just go ahead and post this as a video, as a standalone episode on its own. And then I'll put in links to a lot of the stuff I'm going to reference in the stream. So if you haven't seen all that kind of stuff, like things to do with the Hive, things to do with some of the camera restorations, especially the Holga, things to do with the big Ritter camera here, that whole pilgrimage up to get that in Vermont, I will put that all in the recorded version of this. So yeah, some stuff you may not know, and even the breakthrough photography stuff, I'll put the links into that. And yeah, should have you caught up on everything. If you're not familiar, Guinness Draught Nitro. In my opinion, Andrew, who all's here? Oh, see Dale. I hadn't got any more lenses for the 11 by 14. Currently, just now using the 19-inch Gers F11. I've actually got a little bit of a bee in my bonnet to try my 8.5-inch Kodak Anastigmat, that F47. F47 or F45 that I was using on Winston, that 8 by 10 large format, which miraculously covered the 8 by 10 with virtually all movements. I know it won't cover the 11 by 14, but I love it so much that I want to try it, even though it's going to have some fairly heavy vignetting on there. Actually talking to a guy just a few minutes before the live stream about that lens. It does have, not to get into the weeds here, folks, because we're going to do what's important, but not to get into the weeds with it. That lens is starting to have some balsam separation. I think it was made in 1938. I think it's a Kodak Anastigmat number 34, 8.5-inch. And what balsam separation is literally the lens elements themselves are bonded together And with the balsam, you use balsam glue. And when that pulls apart, it literally is more or less delaminating the lens elements. But an interesting fact kind of goes in stark contrast with the prevailing opinions of modern lens manufacture and modern lens usage. We want to essentially have a perfection in the lens elements, very sterile. All these old lenses have bubbles in them. Like if you look at the lens, you can see air bubbles in the elements, and it doesn't hurt anything. I've shot the GERS that has bubbles in it as well, up to that minimum aperture of f90, and you can't see them. It's very interesting. But yeah, all I would say, I haven't tried it since I saw the balsam separation in the 8 by 10 lens, that 8.5-inch lens. But I'm hoping it won't affect any of the image quality. I hope, but we shall see. Back to Guinness. This is actually brewed in Ireland. It has what's called the Guinness Bullet. I think they pioneered this. It's kind of big now from nitro beers. Boddington's Pub Ale, you'll find it in that. I think Left Hand Milk Stout Nitro. It has a similar apparatus in that. This has what's called a Guinness Bullet in it. If you can hear that. Little thing rattling around in there. That's just a little nitrogen capsule. And when you open it, you can see the bubbles. That's nitrogenating the beer. Let that get happy for just a second. And folks, I'm going to say, again, PG-13 here, very solid PG-13 on the live stream. Don't give me any shit about pouring this Guinness. It's out of a can. We're going to be okay. So I'm going to pour this up, and we'll move into the Hive there. There is, thankfully, very few people around. There's a fairly, maybe septuagenarian group of people over here. They probably think, what the fuck this guy doing? Which I think that myself from time to time. And sorry guys, I don't have a other than my whiskey glass, anything to let you see those famous Guinness bubbles. So we'll let that stew for a second. I mean, we got in here, still got 6 people. Thank you for hanging on, guys. I'm surprised to have one. Like I said, this was not a super planned out stream per se, but hey, glad you're here, folks. I really am. See, I am trying to keep up with the chat here. I actually forgot, kinda, that today was St. Pat's, up until maybe a few days ago. And speaking of all that, with the live stream, any of my camp neighbors had a very unfortunate day yesterday. I'm not going to go into it, but I met quite a few of my camp neighbors up here. If you're joining, guys, Slanja, glad you were here. I mentioned to a gentleman I was talking with, told him I was doing a live stream. He's literally right up the road here, if you're still here. Like, it's kind of surreal, because that's definitely the first time I've had a live stream from the road with people in the immediate area knowing about it. Very cool, very weird. I love it. All right. Leia could care less. So let's move over to the Hive. Now, if you're not familiar, like I said, there's a whole, I think at least 2 episodes now, maybe 3, talking about what exactly this thing is. And if you don't know what this is, obviously, Eskimo Quick Fish 3. This is a pop-up ice fishing hut. They're fairly big in the wet plate collodion crowd, because with wet plate, you have to coat your plates, sensitize them with the silver, do everything while it's wet. That includes shooting, developing, and you have to do it all on location. That's where these things really come in handy. Can't get in any water, folks. You can see all this water stains on here. That's from our little miss out there in the storm the other night. Like I said, this thing was beautiful. Even has the little window covers on it when I could. Literally brand new. That's the box. And yeah. So what we're going to do, this one doesn't need hardly anything done. There's just a few pinholes in it now, caused from the little You see it's a little red dot. Yeah, pinhole. Other than that, the walls are light proof. I'm actually starting to wonder if that first Hive I got was not maybe a refurb or a return, or if something not pristinely new, because that took a lot of work to get it light proof. Had to reline the entire wall portions, and it still had some leaks. So I don't know. But with this one, luckily, at least it was, all we have to do, and I'm going to try something new, is go around all these seams with some plasti dip. Oh, Mr. Evans, welcome, sir, welcome. Talking about the new Hive, man. Yeah, and all this misery. But anyway, I'm going to go around the seams with some plasti dip like I did with the refurb of the original Hive. I'm not going to seal those with that silicone and paint mixture like I did the first one, because I don't think I need to. I think that plasti dip's going to be fine. Aside from that, I'm going to, I've already got the Velcro. I'm going to put some Velcro on here. I've still got our big dark cloths that I put over the doors that seals off the zipper sections. And knock on wood, we should be good to go. Oh, Leia's throwing a fit. You're okay? You okay, baby? Anyway, I salvaged the window covers. Let me set down our beverage. I salvaged the window covers from the original Hive. How they work is essentially just like you would think. They fit on there. At this point, I'm thinking these are kind of moot, because when I got the film here, it was marketed as being more or less cinematic quality. So essentially ruby lith grade that would block UV light. They do not block UV light. I've ruined a few cyanotypes emulsions with those. I think what I'm going to do is just leave the original windows in here like this, add an extra strip of Velcro on either side, and when I'm ready to print inside of here, or coat paper, I'll just seal that up, not have to worry about the red windows. And Robert, your uncle, one less thing to carry, which in this game, one thing less goes a long way. Yeah, those folks are packing up. Leia was a little upset over it. JT, by the way, Moose Photography. Give this young man a shout out here. JT, I'm not saying I'm pissed off at you. You know, it's ruined our friendship, but I have not heard any updates on that project that you mentioned to me the other day. So, yeah, let me know, man. Anyway, JT is out in, I don't think you would mind me saying this, is out in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I met him right after we went on the road. Now I think about it, I was out there doing that Hasselblad X2D review in Las Cruces out in the Oregon Mountains. I got to meet JT, very cool guy, and excellent photographer in his own right. I brought him over to the dark side with some film stuff. So check out Moose Photography. I'm thinking he's still Moose Photography on Instagram, but JT Evans, great stuff, great stuff. And folks are still coming in. Welcome, everybody. Just really getting into the marrow of the live stream here. At the very, I'll go back and probably go over the Hive thing again for the folks coming in. But we've been talking about the big 11x14 Ritter. Got a smorgasbord, as the Dutch say, of the current cameras I have on hand traveling at the moment. We have a little 620 Imperial Mark 12 flash, little 6x6 camera. Love that guy. Fuji X Pro 1, the original X Pro. Of course, Marcus bringing up the rear here. The 4x5 speed graphic. So if you have anything, you know, any questions about that, anything you want to know specifically about the cameras I have on hand, put it down in the chat, and I will do my best to remember to check the chat. Speaking of, Copy that, JT. Yeah, man, no joke. I know we were texting about it, but dude, that's awesome. Congratulations again on that, man. I can't wait to hear about it. Let's see. Might as well show you a little full spectrum of the digs we're at least it used to be. Favorite campsite here at Meriwether Lewis. Big open corner side. And like I said, this place is very interesting. It's a free campground. Double-edged sword with that. And at one time it was the, no joke folks, up until yesterday, probably one of my favorite campgrounds in the country. This was actually the place Leia and I came to first when we sold the house back October 2022. Yeah. Sold the house in October, very end, and we were here like a day or two after that. So kind of a sentimental place. I guess that's why I kind of take a little bit of ownership, or at least a sense of ownership with it. But man, yeah. Weird stuff going on lately. We'll wait till we hit midway. Oh yeah, hang on a second, JT. I'll answer that for you. Gonna wait till we get about midway. Like I said, we're shooting for an hour here. I'm gonna check how we are on the power for the booster, but I forgot to take this out there with us. Hope you could see the whole thing with the Hive. But we're going to wait to about midway. I'm going to start the kind of the recap with the whole breakthrough photography thing and the ongoing stuff with that, and what that episode is going to be, and probably when, and a few other little channel or announcements. But yeah, JT. Man, I hate to be that guy. It just depends. I actually remarked to a gentleman in camp just yesterday that, yeah, in terms of all of my other, like if I lined all the cameras up, I mean film and digital. Oh, I forgot, man. I have the Sony. I have a Sony A7R Mark III, but I mean that's kind of a run of the mill, not a run of the mill, but you're probably likely familiar with that camera. That's why I didn't bring it out here. But yeah, man, I think so. I like to say, yeah, I think the X Pro, in terms of ease of use, I guess the spice in the images, I've already talked about that X Pro sensor, that first gen X trans sensor. Yeah, I think so. I've got the 35mm f1.4 on there now, the Fuji. That lens stays on there virtually all the time. Either that or the Yashinin 50mm f1.4 on manual focus lens that actually came on that camera when I got it. That lens is probably my favorite lens in the world, the Yashinin. But yeah, in terms of, if you can't tell, I hadn't thought about this much, but yeah, in terms of, you know, you don't have to develop anything. The pictures have those film recipes in there, those Fujifilm recipes, and you can't beat that X trans sensor. And if folks, there's a lot of stuff online about this. It's almost one of those intangible differences that you can run into in terms of pictures. I've actually had a weird hypothesis going on about this, and I'm slowly writing about that. These older digital cameras, like I said, this camera is pushing 14 years old now. It's only 16 megapixels, I think. But those sensors were built off of what was known at the time, and what was known at the time generally is 35mm film, 135 format film. So all those older digital cameras, it's my little, postulate that they have that certain flavor because, like, a lot of people use them because they think it looks very close to film. And I think it is very close to film because it was so close to that transition to the digital age from the quote unquote analog age. I don't like using that term really. So yeah, I think that's why a lot of those cameras are coming back into vogue now, like the X Pro 1. And the original X100, it's more or less the fixed lens version of this, is has the same sensor, and I think why those are kind of going crazy right now. Let's see where we are. Can't tell, folks. I have a tendency to ramble. So anyway, so we're at the 30-minute mark. Let's talk about the Breakthrough / Colorado Tripod Company / Summit Stability / Rocky Mountain Tactical debacle. I was heavily involved with some R&D, some prototype work, a lot of reviews for Breakthrough Photography and the Colorado Tripod Company back when I was with Contrastly.com. I was co-founder at Contrastly. So much so that people thought that I was either an employee or somehow officially affiliated with any of those companies, and I was not. I was an independent reviewer. However, when things started to, and I don't think an allegedly is even necessitated here, when things started to go south with all that, a lot of people on all those episodes that I did, those reviews that I did, were looking to me for answers. JT, she is completely indifferent at the moment, man. Over there snoozing. So anyway, people were looking to me for answers. A lot of people were not getting their pre-orders across companies. They were not getting their own waiting list for products that more or less were just kind of seemingly flapping in the breeze. And there was, from what I'd gathered from people either messaging me, emailing me, leaving comments on the YouTube episodes, is generally a lack of communication and transparency across the board from Breakthrough, from Colorado Tripod Company, and like I said, this all being another episode, but some of the other possibly subsidiary companies involved with those products. And I made that first update episode. I still have the house. It was right before I sold that. So over a year ago now. And I thought that was going to be it. And it blew up. People started coming out of the woodwork, ex-employees, a lot of customers sharing their experiences, some weird scenarios going on with that. But the kicker, and like I said, this is the question of legality that like even now, I'm not sure precisely what to say. I think I would be in the clear if I divulged everything, but I don't know. And I'm conflicted with, Davy Crockett on it, even though he died for our sins. But, Davy Crockett said, be sure you're right and then go ahead. And then I have the maxim, when in doubt, do nothing. And those are combative right now because I don't know. What I can and cannot share, the only thing I can tell you that unsolicited, somebody called me. Apparently my number was still on Facebook from Instagram, didn't realize that it's since been removed. But I get a call from a person. I need to be very careful with my language here for whatever unforeseen reason. I was told by them, I have no evidence precisely how it happened other than their word. And they sent me a lot of pictures to support this. However, a person had found, or so I was told, allegedly, a lot of stuff that would possibly hint towards the current situation with Breakthrough and Colorado Tripod Company, and potentially going further into territory that I may not be comfortable from a legal standpoint even addressing directly. That's about as best as I can characterize it, because it is about that. It's that ridiculous. I will tell more In that upcoming episode, I've been really struggling with how to even present the information. Um, I'm going to just go from a case by case product basis. My involvement and what I've been told with that Aspen ball head, my involvement with what I've been told with the Highline ball heads, my involvement and what I've been told with the 4 Series tripod, how that interweaves with the Rocky Mountain Tactical Company. Um, I'll read. Let me stop here, folks. I always ask people how, how much and if they want me to share their information and to what end they want their identities revealed in that. I'm not going to reveal anybody's identity that had so. I'm not going to say anything that's been told to me in confidence publicly in the video. So if you're watching, rest easy on that. But really, what I'm going to do is address each product that people apparently have an issue with that I have been connected to with either reviews or R&D on a non-official basis, and I'll talk. I'll talk about some of the information that I've had through, like I said, that wildly unexpected phone call, and with some of the other conversations I've had with ex-employees of the company. Um, Talked to a couple already. I have one more scheduled with someone who had reached out to me quite a while ago on Instagram and shared a lot of information with me as far as his opinion on the inner workings of the company um, as a whole, and what could have led to some of the people being so disappointed with some of the stuff that I had extolled in the reviews that I thought was coming. If you watch that other episode, folks, I was even when I reviewed the 4 Series, that's what really set the ball rolling here. A guy literally said, "How the fuck did you get this tripod?" And because he was waiting on it, I think he backed it on Kickstarter. And so uh, I'll be talking about that. And like I said, I'm in my head. There's about 50 different things that I'm trying to decide what to say and what not to say about it. Yeah, it's very tough, and that's why it's been taking so long. Yep, JT, take it easy, man. Appreciate you dropping in. But that's why it's really taking me so long with this because stuff keeps coming in and it keeps getting weirder and weirder. And I've been trying to delineate what to share, what not to share, where the line for me crosses over into some kind of half-ass investigative journalism, to where it started off with me just trying to get people answers because they thought I had answers. And I think with this upcoming episode, that's going to be the end of that. I'm hoping they can tie everything off. Um, Unless someone here is an attorney that specializes in libel or defamation lawsuits, or if you know somebody that's a bona fide attorney that specializes in those areas of litigation, let them get in touch with me. Uh, Pro bono would be nice. Or we could just start like a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter to like fund an hour or two worth of attorney's fees to find out, hey, this is what I've been told. What can I say, without getting sued? What can I say without getting sued publicly? Andrew talking about the backstory on the Colorado tripod and breakthrough thing. Wait on Andrew a second or two, see if he's still here. I'm not sure when he sent that. I will say in the interim that someone was not a pro for breakthrough. Okay, I got you, Andrew. Yeah, let me go back to that. The backstory, Colorado tripod, breakthrough photography, Rocky Mountain tactical supports, and through some research, there's another subsidiary company, or at least there was at one time, to all that, and that's Summit Supports, I think. These were all companies that, as far as I know, were headed by a gentleman called Graham Clark. I always liked Graham. I talked to him, a few times back during the Contracts of the days. But yeah, Andrew, I did a lot of reviews that are still on the channel. A ton of written reviews that are over on Contrastly of the breakthrough photography filters. Um, they're regular ND filters. They're circular polarizers and like the night sky filters. Those plus they had some magnetic filters that were coming up. I think there were some issues with possible infringement on that. That's what I've been told by other people. I said allegedly. I don't know. The magnetic filters were dropped. That was another one of the products that people were waiting on. I'm not sure if that was a pre-order situation, but the big thing was a lot of people supported Kickstarters for some of their products. A lot of people pre-ordered their products and never got them. At least that was what the information that's been relayed to me from a lot of these people, from comments on YouTube, from messages. And a lot of people thought I worked for Breakthrough and were always asking me stuff. And I was as in the dark as they were. And so I made an update video last year, the year before last now, more or less divulging what I knew at the time. And from that episode, all kinds of stuff started coming into me from either customers, ex-employees, people that were sharing their stories essentially with me about, like I said, either their experiences with the company, the ordering situation, what they had, I hadn't got, that kind of thing. And so this has been a long time coming for an update to the update. I know people are getting a little ill with me. I do apologize about that. I feel like I'm being very clickbaity, very greasy YouTuberish, but I swear to you, it is coming. It's coming very soon. It's going to be the next episode, the 19th. No, it was today. Yeah, today is the day. One of the folks was going to be back in the States, and I'm hoping that at some point this week we can schedule a call, and that will be more or less the cutoff officially for the information I'm going to gather with that. But yeah, what I was going to say before all that is that someone from Breakthrough actually did reach out to me about a month ago now, at least. And I hate to say it, it was kind of the same MO. It's modus operandi. It's a David Lynch joke, doesn't matter. But reached out to me, I think because another person I had spoke with maybe mentioned me when they had spoke to them. Uh, like I said, they've asked me not to divulge a lot, so I'm gonna leave it there. But they reached out to me, a rep that I never heard from before. A very strange email. Seemed very cookie cutter, very much a template, if that makes any sense to you. And we discussed back and forth about some of the business related side, but then I asked quite a few questions, about some of the stuff that I've been talking about with you here and some of the stuff I want to mention in this episode because I really do want to get their input on this. At the same time, why should I have to like call and track you down on this kind of stuff? But anyway, so the email that I got back from that essentially didn't answer anything that I asked them, but told me that they had like so and so all these products in stock, especially concerning the Aspen ball head. They sent me some pictures of the Aspen ball heads, some new color models that they had, and from what I understand, um, oh no joke, Andrew, I need to talk to you about that, man. All right, feel free to share it here, man. I didn't realize that. Which ball head was it? The Aspen? Was it the Aspen that you had ordered? Maybe you told me that, man. I'm sorry if I forgot about it. But anyway, I think their language was, which one of the Aspens do you prefer? And I understand that to mean like they were asking to send me one. And I'm thinking, I mean, I think I even said back, I'm going to read off all this stuff, just verbatim. I think that's the best way to present it in the episode. But I think they were like asking me to send me one, and I said, the black looks good. And then I said, well, what about these questions? And that's the last I heard from them. I said that's about a month ago. So I don't know. That's very much been the standard practice. Honestly, going back to my very first dealings with the folks at Breakthrough, which is very unfortunate. I think I've went through well, the person I was on the phone with just a few days ago was my second rep, my liaison there at the company, Breakthrough. And I was one before him, and I think I went through four after that. It was just like every time I would speak with him, it was a different person. And apparently that's been relayed to me as par for course as well. Highline Mini. I'm glad you got your money back, man. And it's a shame. Like I said, that stuff, which makes it even worse because I just don't. It's in the other episode, the other update episode, which I'll put a link to when this processes. But I was referred to as a pro for the Breakthrough Photography Company. They would send me a lot of prototype stuff to get opinions on. Like I said, they would call me a pro. I was never listed as a pro on their page, and that was never a big deal to me. But I'm still not even for sure what even, I mean, it was definitely unofficial, whatever it was. I was still not even sure what the capacity was with them. I don't know. It's very confusing. And it's got even more confusing with a lot of stuff that's happened. Very weird. Andrew, weirdly enough, I've got a Highline Mini on my Gorilla Pod right now. I said it was a prototype. That's crazy. Yeah, man, I don't think I knew that. That's one of them. That's another one that I reviewed. That's the prototype model that I reviewed, man. That's crazy. Because this bleeds over into the whole Rocky Mountain tactical thing, because the rep before last, this was going back to like 2021. I had reviewed the 4 series. That's that version. There's a Centennial tripod. There's a 4 series tripod. And through the Colorado Tripod Company, that's marketed as the 4 series. But through Rocky Mountain Tactical, it's marketed as the Vector. And there's a lot of overlap with that. And there's still a lot of questions because I got on some of the tactical forums, some of the firearms forums, and there were some opinions on the Vector. I don't think they realized that was a bleed over from Colorado Tripod Company, where people were saying like they supposedly had seen warehouses full of this stuff. I was always told that it was like very close to being released, and like I said, apparently it never happened. I don't know, allegedly, so I'm still kind of sifting through stuff. Yeah, anyway, it's a very weird situation, and like I said, I mentioned in the community post, if you're on there wanting to know about that, that is definitely coming. And like I said, if you're an attorney, if you specialize in litigation that involves libel, involves, I guess to some end, defamation, I'd very much like to talk with you. Or if you know somebody that is involved with that, that's bona fide, like a real deal, 10 minutes of your time would really be all it needs. So I would know. But I'll definitely tiptoe through the tulips with that in the episode. I'm not sure how much I'll go into about that call I received. But I'll try to tie it all in with hopefully, to some end that will give folks information that they didn't have before that won't get me sued. So, yeah. Where are we? 49 minutes. Let's start tying up the bow here, guys. Let it go for about another 10 minutes or so. I'll take the Wii Boost out there with me. Go over the Hive again. And try not to end the chat. There we go. This may be the time I tip over the 11x14. Yeah, this is our big cable. It runs all the way up inside the vehicle. There's a little console unit that runs up the antenna broadcast. This little guy here. Love the Wii Boost. They're literally worth it 10 times over. But the inside of the Hive, brand new. I went over it a little while earlier. All we're going to do is add some Velcro to the flaps over there and forego those little red windows I had on the old Hive. We're going to throw some Velcro over the doors so we can hang our dark cloth. And there you have it. Hopefully, at least marginally functional new darkroom. Because we ran into a lot of trouble with the old Hive, especially before that refurb. With our salt prints, essentially it made me end any potential salt printing from the road. It's essentially a two-step emulsion process. You cover it with the salt water, let it dry, then you cover it with the silver nitrate, let that dry, and controlling the humidity, and especially, like I said, the light coming in, the UV light, that's a UV process, mainly. I was just ruining sheets of paper, burning through silver like crazy. And the silver nitrate is not exactly cheap. Cheaper than a lot of stuff, but yeah, it just, reality was what it was with that. So we're relegated to nighttime printing, silver gelatin printing, and cyanotypes, because the cyanotype emulsions are not as sensitive, believe it or not, to UV as are the salt prints. Hopefully that guy's going to be up and running. How many people in here? It's very weird. Like I said, the first time I've used the YouTube platform, and I can't see, if anybody knows how to do it, I can see how many people are in here, but I cannot see who is in here. And with Instagram, that was always something very cool about it, because, you know, well, just because of that, I could see who was in here. Oh, baby. I know. What you do? Did you just wake up? Oh boy. Anybody that know, this is Leia, Holocaust denier, my business partner, my noodle, my little bug. Yeah. Anyway, she does not, believe it or not, like the camera. What you smelling? What you sniffing? All right. We'll let this run. Make it an even hour, guys. About 7 more minutes. So if you have any questions about any of the cameras here, laying out, I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. Oh, with one thing. Oddly enough, the Forerunner sitting here, and this is what I forget. When I started, we first went on the road, a big thing was trying to integrate how we pull all this stuff off mobily. This is a standalone unit. This is our island. However, I don't mean this in a bad way. Honestly, nobody gives a shit. Either people were really interested in the Forerunner build. I've turned this thing into a camper, self-sufficient, running water, all kinds of electricity, solar, freezer, that kind of thing. Either people were really interested in that, or people were more interested in the photography, and there was zero overlap. So I've split the channels officially. There's another channel called Forerunner. We just lost connection. Hopefully I'm back, folks. But long story short, splitting off the channels. Forerunner is going to be nothing but the Forerunner build, upgrade, travel, life in camp, that kind of thing. And then Adam Welch Photographers, there's Adam Welch here on YouTube, is going to be nothing but the photography stuff. So if you're interested in one or the other, hopefully it'll be a little more symmetrical. And I won't be showing people stuff they don't want to see. Because God knows that's what I live for. Kidding, folks. I really do appreciate all y'all. I think we're getting close to that being it. So yeah, folks, when this does end, it will process, essentially be another YouTube episode. I initially tried to film this in landscape mode because I knew I was going to repost it as a standalone episode. But it said flip the camera when I started it, so it's going to be vertical. Now, I do apologize for that. That was unintentional. But when this does process, I may wait till I get some Wi-Fi, like actual Wi-Fi in here, to not burn up the hotspot data. But that should be coming fairly soon. It may even be before that Colorado tripod and breakthrough episode, but it won't be by very much. So yeah, and when that does post, when this live stream replay does post, I'll have a ton of links down there mentioning all the episodes that I've talked about in the live stream and a few other things that will be pertinent, especially to the new channel if you want to be in on that. Still 4 minutes to go. We're going to ride this out for an hour. Go up here and see exactly how much power we've got left on the old power bank, because I have two. Keep forgetting to take the weight boost with me. Hopefully that doesn't disconnect. There we go. Give me 2 shakes, Dale. I'll get back with you on that. I've got to grab the boost antenna here. Stand by, folks. I'm trying. I can only stretch. There we go. Now, yeah, Dale, an unpopular opinion is imminent. For color, just so anybody that knows Dale Q, God, I want to do so many Jeremiah Johnson references. But anyway, Dale has just asked how I handle color. How I handle the chemical temps when I'm processing film. And that does come down to whether it's black and white or color. With black and white, I essentially don't worry about it. I really don't. Unless it's really, really cold. I have done some really cold caffeinol processing. And with that, I'm trying to think back exactly. I had a rubric for it. I think I would essentially do it like I was pushing it, like pushing the film. So I think I was extending the time 15% for every 10 degrees below 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like the nominal temperature for black and white, supposedly. But seldom has it really made that much of a difference with my caffeinol. Well, I said that was just a rough guideline. I would just more or less extend the processing time, I think, by every 10 degrees, but it's been a long time since I've done that. Now for color, if you can't tell, I'm kind of cavalier about it. Now with color, I usually stick pretty much by the book for whatever color kit that I'm using. I use Cinestill, and I've used Arista primarily, and I have used Unicolor, and I go by their book temperatures. They're usually similar, but I do whatever the instructions say, and I maintain the temperature. I have a little wash tub, collapsible wash tub out there. I got an REI, and I have a little sous vide cooker. And I'm not trying to disparage, especially Cinestill. I know they sell a dedicated chemical heater, like a circulator, and a few other places. It's a sous vide cooker, and you can find them. I think I gave $30 for mine. I should have got it down. It's up there in one of the Rome boxes, but that works absolutely fantastic. I just clamp it onto the side of the tub, put water in the tub, put my chemical bottles in the water, and just set the temperature to that. It works great. If I remember it, Dell, it's been so long. I'm sure it's still available. Like I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about, but I'll list like a link to that. Not to be greasy, like a self-promoting, but I'll list like a link to the one I have on Amazon, because I hate to say it. The only difference I've seen in the sous vide cookers and the so-called, dedicated water circulators, water temp circulators, is the dedicated ones have like a little like a hook that goes on the side of a tank, and they're literally the same thing. So yeah, black and white, fast and loose, color, pretty tight, and I use the sous vide cooker. I know I was going to go over now, show you a quick glimpse into the sleeping area, how all this is running, and it's going to look like a mess because I'm running all this. But I wish it was wider. Got the fridge freezer over there, a few other little trinkets, and the unit is right down there. That's what's running our Wii Boost. It runs off of AC. So maybe tell them my age here a little bit. I'm 22. But no, it's essentially the cigarette lighter. Little DC. I think I said AC. It's DC. You know, it goes in like those cigarette lighter ports. And that's what powers the Boost. I thought about wiring it in, hardwiring it into our house batteries. But I'm just not sure if the benefit is going to outweigh my laziness. All right, guys, that's an hour. The inaugural YouTube episode. Still a few folks hanging on here. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't actually cut off the live stream before we ended it. So, from me and Leia, we got baby girl. From Natchez Trace, the whole camera crew, Merry St. Pat's, wherever you are in the world, guys. Sláinte. Thanks a lot for being here. And now we do the awkward live stream stop.